Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing a quick video on troubleshooting a Euhomy water dispenser that is not turning on. The reason I'm doing this video is because I looked all over and I could not find an answer. So I found the problem and the solution. So here I am going to be sharing how to fix this problem. I'm sure many of you have tried contacting customer support and they're not giving you any solutions. But after taking some time, I figure out what happened, and this is for the no power. So basically, when you power it on, it won't turn on. I already fixed it, so we're just gonna go backwards, and I'm gonna show you what you're gonna need to fix it. And if you have the same problem, this is the solution. If you don't, then sorry, you might have to figure out a different solution. But when there's no power, we're gonna start with what you need, right? First, you're gonna need a multimeter. The reason you need the multimeter is so we can determine what's the bad part. So in my case, we have the bad part right here, and if you look closely, this is a fuse, and here's the replacement. So right now I'm gonna show you exactly where was this. So first things first, you gotta open this up, right? To open this up, you're gonna need to take out first, I put them in here, but this is the first couple of screws. So then you have a few screws that you need to take out, but you need to be careful because first of all, you're gonna need a flashlight. Give me 1 second. You're gonna need a flashlight because this is gonna make your job a little easier. Okay, so the screws come from here, right? You start the screws from here on the top. You start taking them out, and there's a cover here. The cover comes from here, and there's like a little lip right here. No, the lip is right here, right? So this lip right here goes like this, and then you put it on. But before I do that, we need to organize this box back in, but I need to get in there to show you how we figure out what was wrong. Okay. So first things first, this is the circuits and the brain of your water dispenser. Now it's very important that whenever you tampering with this, it has to be off. It cannot be to the power. It cannot be connected. You need to turn it off completely. Remove it, and then you can start working on it. Now, it's very tight in here, very tight. And what I can tell you is, when you're working on this, you're gonna need really small fingers, or you're gonna have to be able to get in here, right? And I don't know if you guys noticed right there where I'm pointing the light, it's a fuse. Now that fuse was blown, and that's how it looks right here. That's the fuse right there. Yeah, as you can see, it's burned. You can see that that was the main issue with my situation. And the reason you know it's not working is you're gonna get your multimeter and you're gonna test it. And when you test it, you're gonna see that there is no conductivity. So you're gonna go and put in your needle, right? And when you put them, nothing happens. Hold on. Okay. So basically, when you put them here, you get no reading. See, no reading. But when you put it on this one that's working, you're gonna get it's gonna fluctuate between 6. It's gonna fluctuate between 6 and 7. Now I'm not making proper connection. Okay. So this is gonna be fluctuating between 6 and 7. And that's how you know it's working, right? Plus, if you look in the board and you know that this piece is not, it doesn't look broken, still test it. And you should see something like this, right? I'm trying to keep a clear contact, but it's supposed to be okay. So we know the part's working. Now you're gonna need to order this part. You gotta get this. So take a screenshot or wherever you want to get it. I got mine from eBay. This is how it looks. And this is the correct size and measurements. So just make sure that whenever you go and get this is what you purchase. Now, once you get that, you're gonna have to get your soldering iron, and you're gonna have to go right here. And I don't know if you guys can see, but essentially this point right here and then this point right here are the contacts of the fuse, and the fuse is on the other side. So you need to grab your soldering iron and remove the old piece and then create the hole again. So you're gonna use your suction, right? You heat up the solder, you go with your suction, you pop it, create the hole again, and then you're gonna put it back. Now it's very important that when you put this on, I don't know if you can see it, but there is, let's see if this can focus. There's a polarity on this. And this is why you need the magnifying glass, guys. It's so tiny that you can't see it. But when you put on the magnifying glass, let's see if this works. Yeah, okay, it's not working. Okay, so basically on this part right here, you're gonna see that there's a 6.3 on the top, and then on the bottom it's just plain, but to the naked eye you really can't really see it. So you need your magnifying glass or something to kind of be able to see it. I'm gonna try zooming in to see if maybe you could see it a little bit, but the 6.3 part goes on the top. So when you put it in, you're gonna bend the legs. You're gonna bend the legs and you're gonna put it in through this hole and this hole. Remember, the 6.3 goes on the top. So you need to bend it, stick it in, and then from there, resolder it. Once you resolder this, it's gonna turn back on. So that's it. Now, whenever you messing with this box is like well tucked in there. You need to be very careful and very gentle that you don't pull on any of these wires. If you pull on these wires, there's a possibility that you could create yourself a new problem, and then you're really gonna need a new basically you're gonna need a new water dispenser. So just make sure that there's no tension on this, there's no tension on this, and you do that by this box right here, you're resting in there. If you notice, right, I'm resting the box in there, and then I'm letting the wires chill. They're not in there like with any tension whatsoever. Once you're in here, you're gonna need your tweezers. Where's the tweezers? Okay. So you're gonna get yourself a pair of tweezers. I had mine here, but I lost them. You're gonna put them in here, and you're gonna grab the fuse from inside. Now, obviously, you know, it's tight in here, so it's hard to show you. But you see the fuse, right? The fuse is right there. That's the new one. I already installed it and soldered it in there. And once you do that, it'll be back to normal. You are gonna need precision tools, because some of the screws in there are not regular screws. So just make sure you have your precision tools. And you're gonna need, you know, a drill, or you could get a screwdriver, whichever works for you. But just to show you that this works, we're gonna plug it in real quick. So there it is. There's power. Now obviously, before you officially turn it on, you need to put everything back together. So I guess we could go ahead and do that here now. So we're gonna turn this off now, because we don't want no power running through this while we're doing that. Just turned it off. All right, so we're gonna put this back, and obviously you gotta work with this the way. So we're gonna do the steps backwards, and you're gonna do it obviously when you go and you start doing your own, right? So you see these little hooks right here? These hooks go on these holes. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn this around, right? You're gonna turn this around. Okay, so the box is off, and you're gonna turn this, right? You're basically gonna give it a whole little 180. And I don't know if you noticed, but it has these hooks, and those hooks look like little arrows. You can squeeze them, and when you squeeze them, they're gonna come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that real quick. I'm gonna put the phone on the side. Okay, so we put the casing inside very carefully by moving the wires around, but it's still not connected. So you see how the little plastic piece right there, it needs to go inside. There's 4. So you need to put them in there. So we're gonna pause it real quick while we do this. Okay, so as you can see, it's right there. Look, you see I'm pushing the little plastic, and just like that. So I already did 1. You got to do all 4. All right, after wrestling with these little pins, I finally got them in. Basically, once you get to this step, all you got to do is squeeze this, and you just push them in. And once you push them in, the board comes out. Now, always remember that there's no tension here, and there's no tension here. You don't want any tension on your wires. This is your water line, so just be careful with that. And also, this gate right here, they're tricky people. They put the compressor line right on it, so you need to make sure that you have some sort of support down here, because you don't want this to be hanging. This hangs, something could mess up with your compressor, and then you're gonna have no cold water. So just be careful with that. Now this box is in here, tucked in, so there's no way for you to access it unless you open all this up. So we're gonna go ahead and just put that back in. So you basically just kind of snuggle it in there, and you line it up. There's these holes right here. Now once you line it up, you're gonna see these holes right here, and there we go. Those are the 2 holes. We're gonna put the 2 screws. 1 second. Okay, so here it is. I put the screws back on, and you just gotta, like, you don't gotta go crazy. That's it. You don't have to go crazy with this. That's it. And now this box is secure. is good. You don't want this to be super tight because remember, there's electronics here, and you don't want to over tighten this box. These tweezers really came in handy for this. So get yourself a pair of tweezers. When you buy a precision tool kit set, sometimes they come with them. So I got these from Amazon. So that comes with the blue one right there. So if you don't have one, you might have to buy one. Okay. Now the next step is this board right here. Now this board is very delicate, and this is basically the back of your switches, and that's what controls this right here. This has 4 screws. As you can see, the holes right here, those are the triangle screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in real quick, and then I'll show you more. Okay, so I started putting in the screws because, you know, can't hold the phone and do this at the same time. But basically you just go in there and secure this. This is a little hole that overlaps, so do not take this screw out. There's 2, one here and one here. You do not need to take them out. However, this one, it does need to be tight. Okay. You tighten it up, and let's see if we can do this. Okay. It really helps when you have magnetic tips, so like that you can do this, and you'll put in the screw. Now the reason this needs to go first is because this right here has 4 screws. So the holes are right there and right there. And we're gonna have to pick this up. Okay. Okay, now we need to move this a little up, because the screws are right underneath there. So there's 2 here, and then there's 2 right there. And I don't know if you can see that little thing, that little copper is moving. That's your compressor right there. It's in the back. If this drops, moves, or anything, it could damage it, and you could kiss your repair goodbye. So I'm gonna need both hands, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause this for a second. Okay, I just went ahead and put 2 of the screws here. One goes here, another one goes here. And this is the reason why you gotta take this out first, because this right here blocks taking this out. So you gotta take this off first. See, this right here blocks this. So you can't take this out without taking this out. And the other 2 screws go down here. So there's a bar right here. All right, give me 1 second and we'll go ahead and put those in back. Okay, this is when having your flashlight comes in handy, because you're not gonna be able to see anything. So we're gonna go in there, screw that in there gently. You don't have to go too crazy. Remember, your cold lines are right here, so you don't want to go too tight. It's going to be tight enough where it's supporting it. Okay, and that's that. And the last step that we're doing is right here, covering the lid. So to cover this, you're gonna see this part, which is the lip. You're gonna put it at an angle, line it up. Once you line this up, you just drop it and wiggle it a little bit. And once you get it, it should look something like this. Okay. Once you put in the cap, you put in the last screws. One goes here, one goes here. This is actually your first step. So whenever you start taking it out, you start from here. You don't go too tight because this is plastic. You don't want to break it. And essentially that's how it's gonna look. Now once it's all connected, we can go ahead and you could put your jug of water. And congratulations, you just save yourself 150 bucks or 200 bucks, because an electrician is going to charge you for the diagnosis and the repair, which makes no sense since the water dispenser is like 250 bucks. So if you bind this and this job is too complicated, then maybe buy the insurance so that when the water dispenser breaks, you get your money back, or just buy a new one. So it's up to you. I hope this helps you guys. If you guys found this repair helpful, leave a like and share it to other people who might need the help. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys fix the problem. Enjoy. Bye. Before we leave, let's just do one last test. And look at that, it's working. So this canister has absolutely no water, so it's gonna be taking a lot of water, and everything works. Lights are flashing. I already took a few sips, and there you go. Good to go. All right. Have a good one, guys.